How's this for an intro? You ever have a show start out with, how's it going, folks? This is the worst intro that I've already done. It took me 30 seconds, and I've given you the worst intro of this show ever. And we all know the reason why. I'm no longer in control of the show. I just sit here with my little pen, my glass of water, and I just wait. I wait to get brought in. And now you're being greeted with some of the most abrasive tone and vocals that you could ever choose to not have greet you. In any event, I am James, you are you. We are here for the Thursday, August 13th, 2020 edition of At Home with James. Tonight, we have got an evening of cruises, comedy, and crap brought to us by three separate guests. Now, before we get into that, I have to talk about something. I ate too much barbecue for lunch today. I ate way too much barbecue. I went down to the Atwater Market, located on Atwater, went to a American barbecue restaurant, which, frankly, I don't care much for that type of food to begin with, but I did it. You want to know why? I was peer pressured? Peer pressured by the technical director of this show, Dave Kaufman, who will not be here tonight. Apparently, he's working in the booth. You know what he was doing earlier today? He was convincing me to get barbecued American food. So I had some sticky ribs, I had some sausage, I had a tomato salad, and I had some bread. And I felt awful afterwards. So you know what I did? I came home, I laid on my couch for 3 hours because that's what I'm up to. So if you're out there thinking in twitch.tv/athomewithjamesland thinking, I wonder what James does with his day, he must prepare pretty hard for this show. The answer traditionally is no. And that was exemplified so much so today. I came home, I wasn't even tired. I just thought, I got to lay down. I got to get over this full stomach. And then guess what he did after that? He messaged me about 7 o'clock, says, what are you doing for dinner? I said, I don't know, I'm still pretty full from all that lunch. He says, I think we order some Chinese food. He peer pressured me into dinner too. I went down to this guy's courtyard and I ate Chinese food for dinner. Look at me now. I'm hosting a show, and that's why my intro was so bad off the top. Enough from me. I want to tell you about tonight's show. Much later on, closing tonight's festivities out will be the host of the Crapola Corner. We have Carla joining us tonight. Are we going to see some former props? Are we going to get a choose-your-own-adventure story? Will Carla be evil again? I don't know. I don't know anything about what's going to happen tonight, but I can tell you that Joe Conto is also here tonight. He is a professor at Paul Smith College in New York. He will be joining us, and we will be talking comedy. Now, is it going to be a serious conversation? We can have a couple laughs. I want to talk about the real dark side of comedy. You know what I'm talking about, dark side. I'm not talking about drug abuse or alcohol abuse. I'm talking about feeling awful after improv shows, which, if you're doing it right, you're generally feeling awful after improv shows, unless you're me. They call me Mr. 100 because I crush. Also, coming up in just a matter, I don't like that I winked, okay? I wish I could take it back. I can't. We're also going to be joined by a man who's been known to abuse alcohol at one point or another. And that's Dimitri Kyres, the captain, as we otherwise know and love him to be. He'll be joining us. Will he be joining us from Greece? I'm not too sure. Will he be joining us from St. Henry? I'm not too sure. Frankly, I haven't heard much from Dimitri since he went on what I like to call a 2-month bender. But I hope that he is in a state of mind where he can do nothing but provide us with top-notch discussion and top-notch talk. Here's the deal, everyone. I wasn't happy with my intro. I wasn't happy with it. I was stumbling over my words. I'm still getting used to this whole Twitch thing. But I think I've really been able to turn things around and give you the intro that you deserve. If you're in there in the chat right now, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I think we've got a very nice show coming up for you. And why don't we begin tonight's festivities? I talked so lovingly about him, and now it's time to see him, because not only do I love him, I think you love him too. And when I say love, I mean concern. I'm concerned about him, and I think you're concerned about him too. He's coming to us from possibly an unknown location. Let's welcome the captain, Dimitri Kyres, to At Home with James. Oh, I think he might be Dimitri. Psst.
Oh, James.
Dimitri, welcome.
James. Oh, my God. Oh, what time is it?
Well, it's just about 10 after 9 o'clock p.m., but it looks like you're living under the Tuscan sun.
Oh, James, the sun is hot here. Oh, good Lord.
Well, of course, last week when you were here, Dimitri, you were on some type of booze cruise. It looked like a very similar ship. You were surrounded by numerous partygoers, and tonight you seem a little lonely.
Oh, James, I sent everyone home.
Mm-hmm.
The party had to end, James, after 6 days of nonstop inebriation and pleasure. I had to end it. I had to put an end to it.
Will take us through some of this. Of course, we know that you're inebriated because you're here. What type of pleasure are you talking about? Do I want to ask?
You don't want to ask.
Well, your clothes are on, so that seems like it's probably a good sign, correct?
That's a mistake. James.
Would you just say that's a mistake?
James, I've discovered something.
You've discovered something? Tell me more.
James, I've discovered something terrible.
Terrible? Tell me.
After our last talk, the last time we spoke,
right?
Something didn't feel right. Remember I was telling you about that story about how you turned me into the man I am today?
Yeah, the story of which nothing from the story happened. Yeah, where I brought you apparently to my palatial estate. I had you brought through the sauna up to my roof. I pushed you off the roof into a pool that I then saved you from.
James, there's something special about you.
Oh, thank you.
Something ancient.
Ancient?
For a long time, I've been talking to you about how drinking, love making, party going, party shaking is a way of life here in Greece, in the islands.
Yes.
And you've had a negative feeling towards these things, have you not?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm not much of a boat guy. I've enjoyed a boat a time or two. I enjoyed the Maid of the Mist when I went to Niagara Falls. I took a nice cruise around Lake Champlain during a visit to Burlington, Vermont some years ago. It's just the party scene isn't for me. Now, despite what you might say, people who know me, the people who really know me, know that I don't tend to. Dimitri, what is that?
Oh, this is a little concoction that I made.
Well, it looks like it's full of lemons.
Yeah, it's the nice, beautiful Greek lemon and a lot of vodka.
Okay, so you're drinking a vodka with Greek lemons. As I was saying, people know me to not be much of a party animal. I enjoy a party. I enjoy sitting down at a party. I enjoy conversing with one person for the course of maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours at a party. But this whole type of partying, it's not for me.
James, we don't have time for this.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, there's something really special about you.
Thank you.
You have ancient blood. You've been denying something for years. There's something so pure about you.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a party happen. You make people feel excellent at a party. So I decided to look into it.
Okay, I'm listening.
Here, follow me. I'm going to take you to my library downstairs.
All right. Oh, that was a
quick... Hold on. Wait. I got to go through my captain's domain.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are.
Well, it seemed like in order to get there, you went through some type of study as well as, again, a bit of a party on the ship.
It's a big boat, okay? Improv's been very good to me. Listen, James, give me a minute. I have to find the book.
So once again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Captain Dimitri Kyres. This is the Captain's Cruise. You know that when Dimitri is on the show, he comes to us each and every week from some type of cruise ship, usually Mykonos.
I decided to do some digging.
Okay.
And I found this. It's an ancient book, James.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quite a transparent book, so ancient that you can't see it.
That's exactly right. Something ancient and mysterious about it.
But it's so mysterious that none of us can see it.
James,
or you. Oh,
James. Anyway, it's a book.
Yes.
I opened the book and what I found was that you belong to an ancient lineage of party shakers and party makers. Your bloodline goes back all the way to the ancient times, even predating Greek times, which I thought was the most ancient times.
No.
James, you belong to a royal bloodline of absolute raging hound dogs, brother.
So my bloodline is the raging hound dogs?
Oh, brother, you've been ripping it up for centuries, brother.
Oh, tell me your findings.
Oh, I'd love to. Let's cue them up. I'm going to show you this first one. Possibly the most shocking, James.
Okay.
Here we see ancient Roman times. Do you see it, James?
I do see it. Yes, this is quite a display of debauchery.
It's ancient Roman times, James. And look, pleasure and Aphroditeism, hedonism, pure animal instincts being spilled all over the ancient Roman floors. And
Well, it certainly looks like an insatiable scene. The chandeliers are a nice touch. Although I'm noticing something in the bottom corner.
Yes.
There's something that looks like could be one of my long lost family members or ancestors.
I read up. This is Maximilian Drink-a-Tonneson.
What was that name again?
Maximilian Drink-a-Tonneson. An absolute dirty rat who used to run into the stables and steal barrels of wine. Here he is being invited to one of the emperor's great feasts. And here he is getting absolutely fucking tossed.
Oh yeah, it looks like this long lost relative of mine in my lineage is writhing around on the floor, scavenging for something.
That's right, brother. Wait till you see this next one. An absolute disgusting display.
Well, yeah, as we await the next one, Dimitri, can you tell me a little bit? You found all of these in this book that you're referring to?
James, it was incredible. It kept saying the one who is promised. A man would come and throw the greatest rager the world has ever known, ending anger, ending negativity, one giant party to unite the world in its worst hour. And I think you are that person, James.
So you think I am that person?
James, I think you are that person. You've been denying it for years, and I see right through you, James. You're the one who's promised. An absolute raging boy.
Well, on that note, we're still just awaiting our next still. I'm still a little bit curious about how you manage to track these images down. And look, in fairness, Dimitri, I've been known to throw a party in my day, and it looks like, according to this next still, I've managed to enjoy the fruits of the labors of the party thrower. Certainly, tell us a bit about this image.
Yeah, here you are with two of your best boys, Jacob Delorier and Francis Cupid.
Wait, so this is me with them?
Yeah, there you are. It's your two best mates. Here you are, absolutely getting fucking wasted.
Oh yeah, according to this image, it looks like I'm not wasted. It seems like I'm a little bit bored of the discussion. Can you
I looked into this.
Yes.
Because you ran out of booze, and that pint getting absolutely juggled is the last one in the monastery.
Okay, so it's either me or a previous relative that spent time in a monastery, you're saying?
That's right, James. That's right, James. Let's get on to the next one, because I've got quite a few to get through here.
Yeah. How many of these do we have to get through?
Oh, James, I have a long history to share with you. This next slide might disturb you to your very core.
Well, so far, it's on brand with most of our appearances that we enjoy together, Dimitri, where I spend some time feeling disturbed.
James, I don't understand how you could possibly feeling disturbed from any of this. You come from royal blood. Do you know what that means?
Well, apparently it means that I'm a hound dog.
You're an absolute ham dog, James. An absolute one. Wait till you see this next one.
Well, as I was saying, I've been known to throw a party. I like to enjoy a little bit of a party, but of course, this is a a very different. There's nothing. It's just me getting carried out of a party because I'm partied out.
James, this is absolutely right. Here you are, one of your great ancestors getting absolutely topsy-turvied. You seem to have chundered all over the great banquet, and you're getting carted away. You've upset this woman. And here's the worst part of it all, James.
Yes.
They make booze illegal right after this event.
Well, the thing that upsets me most about this image is the fact that I guess my ancestors and I share the exact same body type. What a delicate frame this one ancestor had.
You're absolutely fit and you're looking fantastic. You're right, James.
Can you tell me the name of that relative?
Oh, this is Gabriel. Gabriel Stevens.
So my ancestor is named Gabriel Stevens.
Gabriel Stevens, one of the greatest party masters, absolute party masters of this era.
Well, speaking of party masters, it looks like another one of my ancestors has appeared as a bartender at some form of speakeasy.
This is the thing. So booze disappears off the face of the earth, and so does your ancestors. But here, they reappear in the speakeasy time. Of course, Prohibition is raging all across North America. But here you are in one of these speakeasies, absolutely getting down with it and bringing the good stuff to the kids who need it. You come from a long line of people who are doing this city a great service, James. You ushered in inebriation and love. You realize that?
Well, can you tell me a little bit more about this ancestor and where was this photo taken?
Oh, this is one of the greatest underground speakeasies in New York City, of all places. This is your great ancestor, John Collins.
John Collins. Not to be confused with Gabriel Stevens.
Nope. Gabriel Stevens and John Collins.
And Maximilian Drinkus.
Oh, James, now you're getting the hang of it. Let's keep going through history, James. Are you having fun?
Well, I'm having a good time. I'm learning a lot about my family tonight, which is something that I wasn't aware of. It looks like a past family member had quite an upsetting time during one of these flapping, bopping times in what I imagine is the 20s.
James, your ancestors absolutely fucking losing it in this picture.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but you were there. Let's go to the next one.
So you're not sure about what happened in that last one. We're going to quickly transition to the next one.
I don't know what made you so angry, but it just did.
Well, moving on. Yeah, we were getting a close up on how angry my ancestor was.
James, you are absolutely hammered.
Yeah, I wonder if it was something about a lady.
Well, I don't know. She might have been taking the spotlight from you. You are a bit of a hog, if you catch my drift.
This is not me, right? This is an ancestor.
Oh, yeah, I know. Sorry, your ancestor.
Yeah, you keep hearing back and forth from me or the ancestor.
No, your ancestor. That's what I meant. Anyway, you're going to love this next one.
Well, I assume it was something to do with a lady. I think perhaps an ancestor and that lady who was dancing might have been courted by another gentleman.
James? Your words, not mine, brother.
Well, hey, look, if you don't have the information, I need to make some type of prediction. Is that fair to say?
James, this is the thing. All this history, all these stories, they live in your blood.
Well, tell us about this story from this image.
Here's a couple of friends of yours getting absolutely topsy-turvied in a little gathering. But the fun thing about this photo here, James, notice a familiar face to the left of you. You have your arm around them.
Okay, so to the left of me, my left in the image.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that I'm familiar.
A very familiar face in this photograph, James.
Not sure.
All right, next photo.
Next photo. All right, great. We're moving on to the next photo. Once again, this is Dimitri Kyres. Well, it looks like I'm having a pretty good time here, or at least
James. What goes better with booze? The answer: rock and roll, brother.
Rock and roll with looks like a Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne.
That's right, James. Rock and roll ushered in an absolute age of fucking lighting it up, brother. And that's exactly what happened here.
It
Here
looks
you
like
are.
my relative is the only one in this photo not having a good time.
Nah, you're stone cold Steve Wonderman, man. You are
That's
losing.
my relative, Stone Cold Steve
Steve
Wonderman.
Wonderman, that's who this is in this photo.
I have a question. Why don't any of my relatives have any name close to McGee?
Oh, James, the answer for that, I'll save for the last photo.
Yeah, I come from a long line of Wandermans.
James, the last photo is going to rock your world.
All right, so this upcoming photo is apparently the last photo in your findings that you've dug up about my lineage.
No, there's 2 more photos left.
Okay, so the second to last photo, I understand.
James, here you are getting absolutely tanked.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking a little devious in this photo. I won't lie to you.
Oh, yeah, it looks like I'm hanging out with Kiss, or at least a relative of mine hanging out. Who is this? Is this Wonderman?
No. This is Ted Bundy.
Oh, Ted Bundy, not to be confused with killer Ted Bundy.
No, yeah. Don't get confused. You just happen to share the same name.
Well, yeah, can you tell us about the story behind this photo of one of my distant relatives with Gene Simmons and the boys from Kiss?
Yeah, you tried to kill them. Did not succeed. Next picture. It's kind of a dark part of your story.
All right. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Could you believe it? There are 2 killers named Ted Bundy, one more successful than the other. This next photo is one of my favorites, James. We walk now into more modern day.
Mm-hmm.
Your ancestors, they faced a lot of scrutiny. People started to find out who brought this type of inebriation, this type of activity into the Americas. That's when you changed your name to McGee. It was a hard thing for your family to do because you come from such a long line of party shakers and party makers.
Right. So this photo, again, it's another party scene.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? Who's in this photo?
Well, this is your great uncle. Oh, wait, not that far back.
Yeah.
But maybe like uncle. Ben McGee.
Ben McGee.
Ben McGee. There he is, getting absolutely wasted in the 70s. Can you believe it?
Yeah, yeah, it seems like we most of the lineage stops in the 70s once I began. Well, it seems like we went from the 80s to the 70s because at one point I was hanging out with Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne, then Kiss, and now we're back to the 70s.
We're jumping around a little bit, and James, it all comes back to this.
Mm-hmm.
To you, the last remaining member of the Party Shakers and Party Makers.
The last hound dog, yes. So this is an actual photo taken of me in 2018.
Getting absolutely blasted with 2 of your best friends.
Yeah, so I can speak to this photo. This was taken down the street at a restaurant that I had no interest in going to named Foie Gras. And that is a virgin mojito that I am... despite the fact that it is an unalcoholic beverage, I'm not enthused about drinking it. And I also, people will notice, do not have a beard in this photo, which I'm also not enthused about.
Well, James, you look good to me, buddy. It all comes down to this.
Mm-hmm.
James?
Yes.
You're good at what you do, bro.
Thank you very much.
You're good at what you do. It's in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds to me like you just got to let it out.
So you're saying I got to let the party see there? I feel like I get pressured a lot in this show. I'm being pressured to date. I'm being pressured to party. I'm starting to wonder what's so bad about the James that I know and love.
James, you're a great guy. You got a heart of gold. You always stick your neck out for anybody. But you can also absolutely annihilate a keg.
Well, I've never annihilated a keg in my life. I leave those to you. I share.
James, just think about how much you're depriving the world, the kind of party you could put together, James. Are you telling me that all these ancient party shakers and party makers, you're going to tell them no?
Well, I will say this. What I will tell you is it sounds like I've got some thinking to do on a lot of levels, Dimitri.
James, I love you.
I love you.
Always loved you. Destiny, they say, if I can read a quote and finish off with a quote.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny is a dish best served at night. You don't have to look at it, but man, does it taste sweet once you go into it.
Well, on that poetic note, Dimitri, I want to thank you so much for accumulating all of this history of my family's life from the Wandermans all the way to the McGee's. I want to thank you for taking me down this trip through memory lane, Dimitri.
James, God bless you, buddy.
God bless you too. And I want to wish you nothing but the best in your journey to sobriety. Oh, once again, Dimitri is passed out at the end of his segment. We're going to quietly back away from the captain's cruise. That is Dimitri Kyres. He's here generally on Thursdays or whenever I can get a hold of him, because a lot of times his phone goes right to the machine. I assume that it's either fallen in the water or something bad has happened to Dimitri. So once again, as I do every single week, I ask you to keep Dimitri in your thoughts, because he needs them more than I do. I was saying it. People want me to date. They want me to get wasted. When am I allowed to just be me? When can I just be me? You guys saw me without a beard. It didn't feel like me. Imagine if I shaved the beard and I began dating as well as drinking. It'd be a mess. It'd be a mess. Let's move on to our next guest. He is here semi-regularly. Yes, he's a semi-regular contributor to the show. He's here to talk to us tonight about comedy. Maybe he'll be totally obliterated too. He's coming to us from the great state of New York, where he is currently living and banned from entering the country of Canada despite his appreciation for it. Let us welcome the one and the only Joe Conto to At Home with James.
Hey,
Joe,
what's going on?
Tell
How
me, are you totally wasted right now, Joe?
No, I had like yourself. You know, you and I live parallel lives.
Sure.
I had barbecue for dinner, as a matter of fact, but I had two Bud Light pints over there.
Okay, so you're drinking light beer, though.
Super light. I wanted something that I could just drink, and it didn't expect anything from me. It didn't ask me to appreciate the floral overtones of a West Coast hop. None of that. I just had some beer and some ribs and some onion rings. And
you wanted a non-committal beer, is what you're saying.
That's exactly it. That's my middle name.
Joe, I think you got to talk to Dimitri, buddy.
I don't know. You know, I've reached out. I wrote him one of those notes that you read out loud at an intervention about how his lack of control has affected me.
Yes.
Both on stage, at Improv and off. There's been some inappropriate behavior. You know, he gets a little handsy.
Well, I wonder if I'm enabling him by bringing him on the show. It's almost like I'm doing something wrong, but we're not here to talk about my potential enabling ways. Joe, I want to talk to you a little bit about comedy tonight in Improv, but specifically, I want to talk about what I like to call the darkness of Improv, or the shame of Improv. So before we get into it, for those who may not know Joe, I met Joe through Montreal Improv, which is now a deceased improv theater. And in addition to performing there, you've been known to put on a couple galas in your hometown of Lake Placid.
Lake Placid, New York.
Facilitate classes out there as well. And I think that's your comedy bio, right?
That's pretty much it. And I also do a little storytelling here and there.
A bit of storytelling. Okay, so generally speaking, Joe, let's get into it. Would you say it's improv comedy, for the most part, can be fun, but it can also come with a specific type of fecal matter aftertaste that I've yet to uncover with any other discipline?
You mean the horror you feel? Have you ever done this after a show that went really well, and even after you're feeling good about it and you go to bed with that feeling of like, oh man, I think I might have this knocked. Somehow you wake up the next day and it's like a hangover of your ego, and suddenly you go, oh my God, that was garbage. Oh no, how did they? Oh, they're going to see through me.
Yes.
And, and everything that was good the night before, somehow throughout the night, like in your back brain, you have figured out how everything was terrible. And by the time you get to breakfast, you can't wait to say you and I have breakfast. They're like, you know what, last night's show wasn't really so great when you think about it. And then we run through every thing and each other alive.
Well, and I suspect that there more people are doing that, or maybe there are the unaware people who are not aware of themselves or their surroundings, who maybe aren't doing it and possibly are getting the most out of comedy by not being aware.
Oh, for sure. Look, it's like anything else, right? There are people who are trying their very best, and they want to get so. Here's the thing, James. As you know, improv was probably, and I didn't start till I'm 40 something, and it was probably the only thing in my entire life that I ever tried to be good at on purpose. Like I was, I was terrible, and it was the only thing I really worked at being good at. And I think there are a certain group of people who go, I finally found something that I care about being good at, and yet it's elusive, right? Even if it is good, people compare it to golf, actually, in the fact that you go from like not knowing anything about it to a little bit. So you think I'm built for this. I'm built for this. And then you're crawling out of the sewer for the rest of the time period.
Oh yeah, I think that you have to kind of create a secondary home in the sewer if you want to get good at it. I think you need to become accustomed to the sewer in order to appreciate when you crawl out of it and enjoy the city for a little bit.
Yeah,
but you undoubtedly go back to the sewer.
At the end of the day that you're taking the manhole back down.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice to be among the normals.
Yeah.
Right? And you go down to your third arm.
I want to specifically talk about crappy shows, Joe, because I think we can break them down quite frankly. Now, I have seen you come off of a show knowing, oh, this was not a good show. Objectively, I can sit in the back with my arms crossed and go, oh, this is a terrible set.
It's a stinker.
It's a stinker. And have you not be affected at all. But then other times I'll see you leave a show that's pedestrian or even decent and then look around and go, hey, where did Joe go? And somebody will be like, oh, you didn't know he drove home. He just left.
You have to remember that I live in Lake Placid, and I would do work in Montreal, and I'd stay for a couple nights and teach a class and that sort of thing. And there's one thing that I'm thinking of specifically. It was at the anniversary show, right? The summer anniversary show. And first of all, it's a big deal to be asked to be in the anniversary show. It's so exciting, and they have, or maybe it was Improv. Here's the point.
One of those golden ticket events where you're performing in the same goddamn room that you perform in the other 51 weeks a year.
The night before. I was there the night before. But we had people from Toronto, Burlington, Vermont, coming.
Ottawa,
right? From the Improv Embassy, gracing always. And, oh, is that bad? They're good. Are they close too? Here's the point.
That right? foot's getting closer to the mouth, Joe.
I'm so terrible at it. The stakes have gotten so high. And there are even people who will be like, Coffee Break's my favorite troupe. And I'm like, what? Who, me? But I'm just little old Joe Cano. And I'm getting it all worked up in my head. We do this set. And one of our team members goes, let's be grounded. Okay, just be grounded.
Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this team member has appeared on this show before.
Oh, for sure. So, and this person is all, let's be grounded. Let's just have a good time. Let's be grounded. Myself, I'm like, okay, I'll be grounded. And I forgot what somebody's suggestion was from the audience, some terrible suggestion. And I go out and I've got it all figured out. And I'm being very normal. And then this person who said it was going to be grounded walks on stage and goes, oh, I got too many pies. And I'm like, I was like, okay. All right, let me just put those pies down. Okay, so we got pies. Like in improv, you're like, okay, so I'm somewhere. We have pies. What's the? Oh, they were too hot.
You're trying to make sense of the horrible scene that you're in, and it's only 30 seconds.
We're grounded, and we're doing a set where you're supposed to be being tapped out the whole time. And I look at my back line, and they're frozen because it's gotten so terrible, and I'm out there for a full 25-minute set, and it's high stakes. People from all over greater Eastern Canada are there, and I'm looking.
But
and
people
I'm actually,
from Vermont aren't gonna like me.
They're not gonna. What if word gets out in Lake Placid? So
they'll never let me back into Arby's.
Exactly. Oh, I wish we had an Arby's. We used to have a Quiznos. That's neither here nor there. So, but you're exactly the point, right? Like everyone's going to laugh at me. but in the wrong way. And it was one of those nights where the lights were set in such a way that you could see the first 3 rows.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the place was actually filled. And you know, when you're in the green room and the people before you are killing it and everybody's hooting and hollering, you're like, hot crowd. And we went out there and people were, the 3 people who you could always hear because they were students and you could recognize that, and they were trying to be supportive, but by the way, if anybody goes to a show and you have a fake laugh that you think is going to be supportive, it's the only thing the improviser hears. And when they hear you above anything else, you just know, oh no, it's so-and-so.
Well, and I would say I want to bring myself up in this moment. If the theater's silent and I'm the only laugh you're hearing, just know it's not support. I'm specifically laughing at everything happening.
Oh, well, exactly. You're laughing at because you can laugh at the pain of it, right? So the end of the show, I'm actually angry at my partners. I'm like, those sons of bitches, they left me out there to dry. Nobody tapped me out. They call, I got your back. Bull crap, right?
Yeah.
So in improv, you often touch each other on the shoulder. I got your back out there.
Yeah, I hate that. I've never cared for it.
I never did it again. In fact, one of the people did it the next show, and I just got gave one of these. They go, right. So I go off stage, and 2 people from who are well known-ish in Toronto come by, and you know how like when you cross they're going on, you're going off. The other people, they usually go, good show, great show, really good stuff, fun stuff. These 2 people walk by. They go, heads down. I go, it isn't just me. And that's when I walked through the curtain, walked across the lobby, walked down the back stairway, the one by the dumpster, the one that nobody uses. I had to step over some trash bags, went out, went right to my car. I was supposed to stay for 2 more nights. Went right to my car, got in my car, didn't say anything to anybody. Just got in, started driving silently. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, shoot. Because, I would keep things at the theater. I go, oh, your shoes are there. I go, well, no, I guess no. I'm never going back there. So why would I need those shoes? And I drove all the way back to Lake Placid that night. I didn't turn on the radio. I didn't a word. It was like I was a dead person who still like knew how to drive just from muscle memory and knew my way back home. I remember going to the border, and the person goes, where were you? I just go, Montreal. What did you do? Nothing. I did nothing. That's what I did. I did nothing. My soul left my body, if that's what you mean. And I drove all the way home, and I remember just getting into bed, and I thought, well, improv was fun. I remember I used to do this thing called improv, and it was fun. I didn't even go back for the rest of improv, that annual thing.
I want to put a nice bow on that story, though, Joe. I have booked you for multiple Montreal Improv anniversaries.
Yeah.
And last year, I booked this so-called terrible team to close the anniversary weekend on the Saturday night time slot. And I was sitting in the back of the room, and you know what? Pretty good set.
Who was the terrible? Oh, you mean the same team?
Yes, this so-called terrible team.
No, that team could do great stuff. Not that night.
I've heard great things about your workshop sets.
They're really pretty good.
A lot of people, they'll be like, oh, Mark, he crushes in front of small crowds.
Yeah.
Oh, DJ, she crushes in front of big crowds. Coffee break, they crush in workshop.
So good.
They're so good in workshop.
Oh, in Studio B, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss in Studio B. Now put us in front of some folks. Well, we get a little a lot
of pie scenes. Get some dessert scenes. Yeah.
Some people like. So did you ever see that Homer Simpson gif where Homer is just receding into the bushes, like disappearing? That often would happen with coffee break with certain players. When it wasn't going well, I would look behind and I would see 1 or 2 people just sort of receding into the shadows of the curtains, and I went, "This isn't going well. I think things are nerve-wracking around here.
Yeah, you'll know that you're going to be on the stage for the next 20 minutes by yourself trying to fix things. The chances of you playing a bathroom attendant in a scene skyrocket.
Huge. Or I'll just go with my old my old tricks, right?
Oh, we all know the old tricks.
Yeah. Bayou Carl will come out, right?
Mhm.
Come out, or the confused grandpa.
Yes.
Like, well, now what's going on here, children? That guy will come out a little bit. And also there's this sort of like pathetic nerd will come out, and he goes, I recently was divorced, that one. So I
yeah, we call that Joe's Holy Trinity.
It's the triple. One time I went into the bathroom after a particularly bad night, and I was, went to the bathroom, and I look in the mirror as I'm washing my hands. I go, well, you made all your faces. And that's all I could think was, you did what you could. You made all the different faces you make. So maybe
I've hosted enough shows that you've been a part of, Joe, and directed as well, where I know when you know.
Terrible.
It's like, Joe is sickened with himself tonight.
You know how sometimes we'd be doing a Friday night a main event,
sure,
and I would be on stage and you'd be on the stool over there. And I remember sometimes in the middle of a scene when it was just like terrible, I remember just kind of like looking to the side and making eye contact with you, and you're watching, and when I look over, like, it's not really, and you suddenly get very busy with your clipboard. Suddenly you're like, yeah, okay, I got things to do. And I go, okay, he can't even look at me. Can't even look at me.
Yeah, I was saying to someone today during that show, I'm not taking notes. I'm literally doodling because the scenes are boring me.
So boring.
Yeah.
So boring. I often tell people that even like the best improv scene you will ever have, or the best improv show you'll ever have, is 40% garbage, right? Like 60% of it will hit, but the other 40% is you scrape it around, trying to figure stuff out, throwing stuff out, against the wall. It's a tough thing. But you keep moving forward. That's what you learn from it, right? You keep going into it.
The good news is we have nowhere to do it anymore. So
no, that's breaking my heart. Something will happen. I've got good feelings that something will grow from that. There's too much fertile ground.
I'm glad that we're going to end the segment on a bit of a cheery note. Joe, thanks for doing this tonight, and let's have you come back and tell
so much
improv shame stories.
Oh, I have shame stories from off stage too. My life is a series of humiliations. So
I would love, Joe Conto's series of humiliations. We have now found you a segment, Joe.
I've got some good ones. Oh, I'll write them down. This will be fun. It's good to get them out, right?
Yes, I think we have to live with our emotions and our shame in order to move past them.
I agree. Oh, and by the way, Dimitri's shtick was so good. I loved it so much. The part where he goes, "You're good at what you, you're good at what you do. You're good at what you do."
He's doing old Hollywood. I'm
going to talk to him about this later. I loved it so
just
much.
Make sure he's when you do talk to him, he's laying on his stomach, Joe.
Well, I always turn them over on their stomach because I'm not losing another drummer.
We can't do that, Joe. I love you.
I love you too so much. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you for being here. That's Joe Conto, folks. He is fading away into the abyss of the information superhighway, which is what the kids called the internet in the 90s. Before we move on to our final segment of the night, just a reminder that we will be back tomorrow at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on twitch.tv/@home-with-James. Big show planned because the end of the week, we know once it starts to get to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, things start to get a little spicy. Tomorrow night, Nerd versus Noob returns. Mark Rowland will be going head-to-head as our resident nerd against upcoming noob. Stacy Gagnitza will be jumping into Nerd versus Noob tomorrow night. In addition to this, you saw her last week. She tried to give me some type of dating advice. Carmen Rose will be joining us, and I will be getting on the couch with Carmen. I have no idea if he intends to be here, but I'm just going to announce that Dave Kaufman will be here in the Cough Zone tomorrow night. Will he be here? I'm not too sure. And something tells me that that story Joe was telling may or may have not featured someone in the tech booth, as was stated in the chat. It is now time to move on to our final segment of the night. You know, when you love this person, she is here every Thursday. Let us welcome, by way of the Crapola Corner, it is Carla Ma on At Home with James.
Oh, man.
Carla, do I hear you? I think I hear some type of writhing.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh,
Carla,
man.
you seem so relaxed.
Yeah, just straight chilling.
Wait, can you come a little closer to the camera, Carla?
I don't want to get too close. It's a little bright.
Can you just come in a little bit closer?
You want...
I
can't do this, man.
Have you have you grown a beard?
Yeah, I told you I was working on it, you know. Yeah. And I told you it was coming in and you didn't believe me. I you know, from last week you inspired me with a lot of the things that you brought up, and I tried out some things, man, and life's good.
Carla, so earlier on, Dimitri was on the show and he had a couple drinks. Have you been enjoying anything this evening?
It's like you know me. It's cause like, oh man, I think we're like syncing up, man.
Oh, what are you drinking there? That kind of looks like a cherry Coke Zero.
No, it's a brewski, man.
Oh, it's a brewski. Oh, what is the name of? What is that? Is that what's on the can? Does it just say Big Beer?
This is not sponsored.
So you're drinking an American Spring. Can we talk about this shirt that you're wearing as well, Carla? This is a pretty cool shirt.
It was my dad's.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So you got some hand-me-downs from your old man.
Yeah. He wore this in like 92.
92. Okay. Well,
Vintage.
I've come to know you in your natural state, but then I also know you once you turned evil. What are you vaping? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I vape now.
Oh, yeah. So Carla, again, I've known you through your transition as evil. What has happened?
I just took your advice, man.
What advice was that?
You know, well, I just, you know, I have something to show you.
Okay.
I met somebody.
You met someone. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so you've had a Coca-Cola. Oh.
Isn't she cute?
You just go. It's yeah. It's I never expected to feel. Oh, I've never expected to feel uncomfortable during one of your segments, Carla. But here we are. I've never seen anyone give little smoochies to a little can of Coke.
You mean you never kissed a Coke before?
No, I've never kissed a Coke before. I'm interested that you appear to have a Coke near you, but you're drinking a beer.
No, the Coke is for smooches.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, is that that vape that you were enjoying, is that a flavored vape?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, oh, that fruit juice.
That's so it's got your vape flavors.
Look at this.
Your vape, yeah, it looks like some type of taser or a children's water gun.
Yeah.
I didn't know that a vape could come in a fruit juice flavor.
They got everything, you know.
Yeah, apparently. Well, of course, I don't indulge in any vices. I've never vaped before, Carla.
Oh, hey, you know, You could still can try.
Yeah, I guess I could. Again, I'm being peer pressured again. So, Carla.
Oh man, no pressure, man. No
Oh,
pressure.
thank you.
Hey, James.
Yep.
It's because of you that I got to this good place, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm glad to have been able to take you to this good place, and you're also coming to us from another fort tonight. It looks like.
Yeah, I spruced up the place, you know. I like
So the place? You mean the fort?
Yeah, the fort's still good. I still need the fort.
Okay, well, let's get into it tonight. I'd hate to take you off course. So usually you're here to talk to us about some of the stuff you found in your closet, or tell us a story. What do you have planned for tonight, Carla?
Oh yeah. Well, I wrote a little bit more of the Choose Your Own Adventure.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, is that a pack of CDs over your shoulder?
CDs, man.
Yep.
Where are you looking?
It looks like you've got some burnt CDs next to your, what I'm imagining is your left arm.
Nah, man, you're just seeing stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow. How do I get to that point?
Yeah, well, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
So we're going to be revisiting a Choose Your Own Adventure, Carla, that you have written over the course of the past couple months. For those of you just tuning in, this is, as mentioned, a Choose Your Own Adventure where I am the focal point, and oftentimes I try to evade dying. And hopefully that's the case tonight.
I gotta crouch down. Oh man, okay. Well, I gotta take you back in time to where we were last in the story.
Of course.
Let me get straight chill.
Yeah.
Let me get straight chill here. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, looks great.
All right. Okay, cool. To be continued. We find James at his favorite Dorset, Vermont coffee shop. The bean there, done that. Pardon me, I'm going at a different pace tonight, you know. Where he meets Geralda, the Poutine family name. It is there she reveals the war between her family, the original Poutine powerhouses, and the mean teens who are reinventing poutines by way of fusion cuisine. Cut to the last time on James's Choose Your Own Adventure. Geralda, remember that beautiful redhead at the back of the cafe? He laughs. You're perfect for the job. She pushes a large envelope your way. Before we go on, I need you to swear to me you're ready to take on whatever comes your way. Oh yeah, wholeheartedly and without question. I need your absolute trust and loyalty. You take a deep breath before making your decision. Do you A, decide this is too creepy and decline Geralda's offer, or B, blindly and boldly accept?
You know what? I'm gonna be blind and bold, and I'm gonna take B. That's the adventure I'm gonna go on.
Whoa, James, who are you tonight? Wow, must have been all that meat you ate today. Okay. James is intrigued by Geralda's offer and boldly accepts it. It's then that James takes the envelope. Just as he's getting ready to tear it open, a dart is shot straight into James's neck from the courtyard rooftop. It's poison! He immediately feels the effects. Blurred vision, intense nausea, headache, fever, and hallucinations. Your face feels numb with shooting pains. Time seems to slow down and you feel the life being squeezed out of your pores. In a world, you can hear the dull pierce of distant sirens and you feel the world move all around you. Darkness swallows you in a deep sleep. Good night. Game over. Start again.
Okay, so I've once again died in my own Choose Your Adventure. We're closing in on 10 deaths over the course of many adventures, aren't we, Carla?
Aye. Yeah. It's way up there. We're getting double digits. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, so I guess the appropriate response would have been to select A.
All right. A, you decide this is too creepy and decline Geralda's offer. Okay. This offer doesn't tickle James's fantasy. How could he come to trust this mysterious woman? He politely declines Geralda's offer and pushes back the envelope her way. She is immediately offended. I was told you like to take big risks, but seems you are nothing but a yellow-bellied coward.
What a waste of my breath. Angus, deal with it. It's then that a large bodyguard firmly lifts you up from your seat. You struggle and demand to be let go while being escorted out of the cafe. Locals peering closely as you make a scene, shaking your head as you walk away in anger. You decide it's time for you to check into your bed and breakfast, the Creekside Cottage. It had been 2 whole years since James's last visit, and he was excited to see the familiar faces of the EMB. Already waiting to welcome him was the owner, Barb, who was also watering the front garden. James, it's so good to see you. Barb embraces James with a hearty hug. She smelled like earth and lavender. Her large brimmed sun hat poked James in the eye. Oh, sorry there. Didn't mean to take out your eye. You're going to need both of those to be on alert from those mean teens. Mean teens? Mean teens? How did she know about these mean teens? Oh, don't look at me like I'm an old bat who isn't in the loop. I actually know a lot more than you think. Now, don't you get all worked up before your vacation has even started. Come in, I'll serve you some breakfast and a hot cup of joe while we're at it. Much to James's surprise, as he entered the creekside, was his good friend, super sweet. Listen to this. I didn't even sync up with you tonight, James. Guess who it is? Joe Conto in the breakfast nook. Barb winks at James as he settles next to Joe.
Do you even flippin' believe I didn't even know Joe Conto was on the show tonight? Oh man, it's like I'm psychic or something. Like, damn, like this is. But I got a vape.
Yeah. Yeah, this is quite a coincidence.
Damn, Joe's the shit, man. Yeah, Joe's the shit. Fuck, I love you, Joe. Dimitri too, but Joe, fuck, you're the shit, man. Okay, all right, okay. All right, I gotta calm down. Where am I? Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Barb winks at James as he settles next to Joe. I'll get you more coffee there, Joe, and I'll be right out with an extra mug there, James. She whisks away his overnight bag and makes her way out. The nook was gleaming with morning sun cascading through the lace curtains and touching all the antiquities around the room. Joe gets up and gives James a huge hug, lifting him off the floor. Good to see you, James. Ooh, that's not good for the back. Got too excited there. Oh. Good to see you too, Joe. Wow, unexpected, but very exciting. I usually do this sort of thing solo. Life was getting kind of crazy back home. Tell me about it, Joe continues. Montreal is up to mischief these days with those mean teens. I see you already got a nasty bump on your head, eh? You know, about those mean teens too? Am I the only one who doesn't know what's going on? Joe looks around the room and then leans in close to James.
They're always watching. You gotta be careful. So far I've been lucky to not run into any riffraff here in Dorset, but you can never be too careful. There's a war, James, between poutine makers of old and new. The poutine family, the Big P, are losing out to the new fusion franchises, tossing a whole turkey dinner and surf and turf onto their poutines. It's all being led by these mean teens. Then suddenly, a loud crash comes from the kitchen. Both James and Joe investigate the noise. Barb lies on the kitchen floor in shock, with smashed plates all around her as she stares up at the bloody pig's head pinned to the wall with a large hunting knife with a note attached. Joe helps Barb up and brings her out to the room to comfort her. James approaches the pig head and swiftly tears a note that reads, "Coward." It's time to make a decision. Do you A, end your trip short and go back home to Montreal, or B, not let this threat scare you and enjoy the rest of your weekend?
No, I'm going to be a coward. I'm going to end my trip and go back home to Montreal.
All right.
Whew. James feels guilty that danger is following him close behind. It seemed too foolish to ignore this threat. It was time to claim his bag and head back home. He stays a little while with Joe and Barb as they enjoy each other's company before James jumps back on a bus headed for Montreal. Lurch! James had fallen asleep again on his bus ride home and woke up to a sudden stop as the bus turns into the station. He wipes the drool from his face and makes his way to his humble home. It was such a long day of threats and traveling. James was exhausted and couldn't wait to jump into his flannel pajamas and go to bed. Immediately, something was amiss. The front door to his apartment was slightly ajar. James crept in.
To be continued.
Well, my prediction is I'm somehow going to end up dead in this continuation. I think last time we presented one of these choose your own adventures, I managed to evade death, but I'm off to a regular start and dying tonight as you enjoy your fruit juice vape, Carla.
Did I do it? Did
I think I saw the circles. Before we let you go, Carla, what else do you have on tap for tonight?
Just a little smooch sesh.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to be a voyeur in this situation. So, Carla, look, I'm gonna thank you for being here with your story, and I gotta say this new attitude is very cool.
Thanks, man.
Okay, that's Carla Ma, her vape, her beer, and as we're watching her enjoy a little smooch sesh with a can of. Oh, this is getting intimate. Maybe we can cut away from this. This is a family show. Guys, we did it. We have reached the precipice. As we begin to wind down, I want to apologize for the technical difficulties that we faced and caused a late start. But let's be honest, it wasn't that late. In the chat, Dave was like, hey, check it out. 2 minutes. Maybe we were a little more than 2 minutes. Maybe we were 4 minutes. But you know what? I think, not to project, but I think that you are sympathetic to us as we are sympathetic to you, as we all collectively work together as we transition our life from Instagram Live to Twitch. Could you imagine going back to Instagram now, how much of a disappointment that would be? It would be really disappointing, wouldn't it? So we got to take the good with the bad as we switch from one platform to another. And all things considered, things I think have been pretty dang smooth for the past 2 weeks. And they'll continue to be smooth tomorrow night when we are back once again at 9:00 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/athomewithjames. Nerd versus Noob, Mark Rowland and Stacey Gagnitza, as well as On the Couch with Carmen. Until then, I want to thank Carla Ma. I want to thank Joe Conto. I want to thank Dimitri Kyres wherever he might be sailing, either on the boat or in the water. Also want to give a very special thanks to the main man in the booth, Dave Kaufman, who I'm forcing to be on tomorrow night's show. Will it manifest itself? Hey, just give me an hour with Dave tomorrow and a cup of coffee, and I'll make sure he's here. Until then, thanks so much for watching. I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and be well.